If your phone rings right now and it's an unscheduled call, your heart rate instantly spikes like you're being hunted by a wild animal. You stare at the screen, let it go straight to voicemail, and immediately text them, "Hey, what's up?" like a true digital coward. Research literally shows that over 70% of Gen Z outright refuse to answer phone calls without a pre-call text, "Heads up" first. To older generations, a phone call is just a quick chat, but to us, an unannounced call feels like a home invasion of our personal attention span. The core issue comes down to one fundamental difference between text and voice: the total lack of a backspace key in real life. When you send a text, you get to edit, delete, and reread your message 5 times so you don't sound like a complete weirdo. But on a live call, you mess up one syllable and your brain instantly logs it into your internal core memory of cringe moments. A voice call locks you into a real-time hostage situation where you can't even tab out or pretend you're busy. Texting lets you multitask, process information, and reply whenever you actually have the mental bandwidth to care. Because calls are so rare nowadays, when a phone actually rings, the default assumption is never, "Oh, cool, a friend." No. Your brain immediately assumes someone is either in the hospital or calling to inform you of your impending bankruptcy. And if calling a friend gives us anxiety, making a phone call to a business or customer support is basically a psychological boss fight. You end up scripting out your opening line on a notepad like you're preparing a speech for the United Nations. Let's be real though. Spam callers are the main villain that permanently killed the ringtone for our entire generation. When 9 out of 10 unknown calls are robocalls trying to extend your non-existent car warranty, why would anyone ever pick up? That's why 99% of Gen Z phones are permanently set to Do Not Disturb mode 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If Gen Z hates calling so much, how do we actually talk to people without typing out entire novels? Enter the voice note, the ultimate asynchronous compromise that saved human interaction. You get the emotional tone and inflection of a real phone call, but without trapping the receiver in a live conversation. They can listen to your 5-minute rant on 2x speed while doing laundry or making iced coffee. Modern communication isn't about being lazy. It's about respecting each other's time and boundary control. If you really need to call someone, there is now an unwritten law of internet etiquette you must follow. You have to send a quick text first saying, "Hey, can I call you real quick?" to give them time to mentally prepare. Calling someone out of nowhere without warning is now perceived as the ultimate social power move or outright aggression. It's like kicking someone's front door open unannounced and expecting them to offer you tea and biscuits on the spot. But here's the funny plot twist. When a phone call is actually scheduled, it hits so much better. When you both agree to a phone call in advance, you actually set aside dedicated time to lock in and catch up properly. It changes the vibe completely from an annoying interruption to a meaningful hangout with your best friend. Plus, if Gen Z is going to talk in real time, they'd honestly rather just FaceTime or hop on Discord. Seeing someone's face or screen sharing a funny video gives context that an audio-only cellular call completely lacks. At this point, the default phone app on your smartphone is basically just an artifact from the 1990s. Think about it. Our brains are already bombarded with hundreds of Slack pings, DMs, and notifications every single day. An unannounced phone call forces its way straight to the front of that priority line without asking for permission. Ignoring incoming calls isn't about being rude or ungrateful. It's basic mental energy management in a hyper-connected world. When you control when and how you communicate, you protect your sanity and keep social burnout at bay. So if you want to keep your Gen Z friends, remember the golden rule. Text before you dial, always. Next time your phone rings out of nowhere, feel free to drop it like a hot potato and let it rot in voicemail guilt-free. Because at the end of the day, an unannounced phone call is just a text message throwing a temper tantrum. Drop a comment down below and tell me, do you actually answer unknown calls, or do you let them go straight to voicemail like a normal human? Smash that subscribe button so you never miss another video. And please, for the love of everything, text me before you call.